It is 10 o'clock on the third Saturday of the month. So where are we? We are at Cincinnati TV Toastmasters.
Hi, and welcome everybody. Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to David Ash. And just a note, David, you have only 8 minutes to do the table topics, and thank you.
So yes, as I mentioned briefly when I was introducing the timing role, I'm going to be the table topics master today. And in table topics, yes, it's an opportunity for everyone to speak. And I'm going to be asking you a short question and giving you 1 to 2 minutes then to talk. And all of the questions are going to be related to winter. So not necessarily the holidays, but because it is the start of winter coming up, I think the winter solstice is coming upon us. I'm going to be asking you a short question that you can talk for 1 to 2 minutes on something related to winter. And I'll ask the question, and you can either answer the question that I asked, or you can be like a politician and answer something similar, or even something completely different. So just you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But if you are inspired to talk about the question about winter in general, then feel free to do so. So I'm going to actually ask. Yeah, Joy, would you be willing to take the first question?
Okay.
Okay. So Joy, do you do anything special to prepare for winter?
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for allowing me to speak about winter. I think everyone is supposed to winterize their car. And in casual conversation before the meeting actually started, I was saying that Cincinnati, Ohio is having a mild winter. So I have done nothing to winterize my car. I'm hoping the antifreeze that was in there last year is still in there and doing its job. I did have the tires checked recently, but I don't really do a lot for my car. Telling on myself there. I do have a home that has an addition on it. So the brick home, which is basically a ranch home, is heated in one way. And the addition is a huge master bedroom with a huge picture window with 3 huge panes, which is great when the sun comes in to warm up that room, but it is heated in a different way. So I do have to check all of my heating and have a tune up on my furnace and those kind of things. So I do maintain my home for winter. And that will wrap up all of the things that I do to prepare for winter. All right, so back to you, David.
Thank you, Joy. And given that we are a little bit pressed for time today, and we really do like to offer everyone the chance to speak today, I'm going to ask our guests if they would like to come forward and speak. And again, it is completely optional to speak. And I notice actually we have lost one guest, but Miriam, would you like to take a table topics question?
Yes, I'll give that a shot.
Okay, very good. I appreciate it.
How long do I have? I think I missed that part.
Yeah, it's about 1 to 2 minutes, and I will be showing colors. So when you'll see, when I get to when you get to 1 minute, you'll see yellow, then or green, then yellow, then red. So when you see red, definitely it's time to wrap up.
All
Okay.
right. I'm a bit nervous now, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing to be nervous about, but yeah. So Miriam, do you change your driving habits in the winter months?
Driving habits. Okay, so let's first talk about driving in Egypt. There are no driving habits in Egypt. Driving means getting in your car and moving. And sometimes you don't stop for anything or anyone, including red lights. And other times, you stop in the middle of the street because it is convenient for you as a driver to stop in the middle of the street. And it doesn't really matter whether it causes any inconvenience to anyone else that is driving in the street. And winter in Egypt is actually not so wintry. It just rains a bit more often than it does around autumn time. So we've got maybe 4 or 5 days during winter where the roads are wet. Not too wet though. This does not stop anyone from going above the speed limit. And it does not stop anyone from pressing the brakes too hard and having their car slip on the road. And I think I just exaggerated a lot about driving in Egypt, but it does get that bad sometimes. Answering your question, David, no, I do not change my driving habits in the winter because there are no driving habits in Egypt.
Okay. Thank you, Miriam. And yes, I actually should have mentioned I'm myself in California. This is a Cincinnati group. So these winter questions are mainly kind of directed at folks who might be experiencing a Cincinnati winter, but there are folks who can join from anywhere in the world. So I'm coming in from California. I actually do know a little bit about driving conditions in Egypt because my brother lived there for 2 years and has told me a lot of stories, but we'll leave it at that for now.
But good questions. They take us outside the box.
Right.
The questions are really good because they take people outside of Cincinnati, outside
Yeah,
the box.
exactly. Yeah. So thank you, Miriam. Miles, would you like to take a table topics question?
Yes, go ahead, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Miles, my question for you is, what is your favorite winter sport?
That's a nice question. I'm from the South America, but traditionally associated with Caribbean countries. I'm from Guyana, but we are more Caribbean in culture. So winter sports, now my favorite sport is cricket. So cricket is now being played in America during the winter months. And I do enjoy it. I get to look at the Indian 120 overs, and now there's the Middle Eastern 10 overs is going on. I get to enjoy all my cricket during the winter months. And so cricket continues to be my favorite sport and continue to be my sport of choice. Apart from cricket, I may dabble in a little soccer. So soccer is also throughout the year. So I still get to enjoy my soccer without any interruption via streaming videos or through the television. And it's truly wonderful to continue enjoying those sports. Thank you so much for asking me that question, David, when I answered
it. Thank you, Miles.
Jeff, are you prepared to give an intro to Joy's speech?
Yes, I am. Time is our most precious resource. It's also one of the most difficult to manage. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, excuse me, but some people seem to be able to get more done than others. What's their secret? Today's speaker, Joy Harris, has parlayed her business psychology studies at Western Kentucky University into a tenured business career leading and driving team success, including things like time management. She currently is the founder of Joy Can Help Stress Less, a lifestyle coaching service that helps busy professional women stress less. Joy Harris, The Secrets of Time Management, The Secrets of Time Management, Joy Harris.
Take it away, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. In a perfect world, you're seeing my slides for the secrets of time management.
Yes, we
Looking
can
for
see them.
thumbs up. All righty, thank you. Welcome to Secrets of Time Management. I'm Joy Harris, and the first secret is you cannot manage time. So thank you for joining. No, actually, there is a lot to be said about time management, and I have a lot to share with you today. When we talk about managing time, a day is measured as the rotation of the earth around the sun. So it isn't going to change. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Everyone in this city has morning, afternoon, and evening. And we all have 168 hours in a week. So how is it that some people are inventors and artists, and other people say they don't have the time to accomplish anything or to get anything done? It must be in our awareness of what we do with our time. So based on the time constraint that I have to share information with you, I will just be able to give an overview of the ways to look at time. So I'd like to cover time on the job and personal time. So thinking about time on the job, everyone is responsible to manage their own time, most likely, to be able to meet the expectations of the job. So they can think about that in what they can accomplish in the course of a day, a month, or whatever time period, but it's very important to be aware of how you spend your time on the job. Now, I have recently had an opportunity, just one of my last major projects was to manage 100 people, approximately 100 people, and what they would be doing for every 2 to 4 weeks in the course of almost a year. So on the job, it's very important to be aware of how you're spending your time, as well as how those around you, your team, your department, other people on the same job, how they're managing their time. Now, as far as managing your personal time, it is pretty important to think about how you're spending your time, because how we spend our time is how we spend our lives. And knowing that our personal time, taking opportunities for our personal time, can reduce stress. And quiet time is just as valuable as scheduled time. So many of us have been asked, what is your most valuable asset? And if you have a lot of fancy cars, you have a wonderful home, and you have a vacation home, and you have a boat or a bigger boat, you may think of those as assets, but a lot of times it boils down to money and time. So we can always get more money. We can get a job. We can get a better job. We can get a promotion. We can even get a windfall. However, we cannot negotiate for more time. So it is an awareness of what we do with our time that is the secret. So it is important to maximize or optimize your time. That's the secret. So on the job, many times we have to look at a timeline to think about all the tasks that need to be done and sequence those tasks. For example, when I'm building an addition onto my home, I have to hire the framers, I have to hire the drywallers, and hire the painter. So I hired them all, and they all said, great, I can start Monday. However, looking at the sequence of time, you need your painter to show up in a timely manner, because the painter can't start until the drywallers have finished, who cannot start until the framers have finished. So sequencing tasks on the job becomes very important. Now let's think about rest and relaxation, because vacations are supposed to be about relaxation, but are they? I would like to say that many of us have had vacations where you have to catch the flight or the train or the bus. And even when it is a driving vacation across the country, you may have an opportunity to get there in time to see something or to meet up with other people. It's still important to have certain things that need to be scheduled. However, remember not to schedule your vacation so tightly that you're so tired when you get back from vacation, you need a vacation. And let's think about our spiritual life. So what do you do to feel your well, to really be enthusiastic about life? You may be an artist, you may write, you may read and enjoy podcasts. I'll bet a lot of you have a gratitude journal that you write in daily, or do morning pages or any type of journal. Or you may have a joy journal, which is a tiny little journal that you write down something that brings you joy, just a sentence or two of something that brings you joy. That is one way to feel your spiritual well. And your spiritual life cannot be put on the back burner. That is an integral part of having more confidence and more success and less stress. So another secret about optimizing and maximizing your time is the old get her done jar or the get her done list. And some families call it the job jar. And they write down, wash the car or clean out the garage. And once a week, they pick something out of the job jar to get that accomplished. Or maybe it's once a month. Or maybe you clean the gutters on your house once or twice a year. But when you have an awareness of needing a job jar or a get her done list, some families call it the honey-do list, then you will get not only the routine tasks done, but you'll get those chores that may never get done in a timely manner unless you have the awareness of getting those tasks completed. So let's talk about schedules and plans. You really need to know yourself. If you have one task a day, you're not going to need all of this planning, maybe a couple of tasks a week. But if you have a family, if you have a job, or you have your own business, and some people have several businesses, they may need to schedule everything. For example, I tend to schedule everything. I use an electronic calendar and a paper calendar. So I'll show you an electronic calendar here in a minute, but it is pretty important to make sure that you know your priorities and your responsibilities so that critical meetings and events can be marked on a paper or an electronic calendar. But it is something that we don't want to be missed. And it is also pretty important to make sure that you don't let others down and that you are fulfilling your responsibilities. And calendaring can help do all of that so that you know what your importance or your nice to haves, your optionals. It's nothing to understand that life happens. Life sometimes gets in the way. You might say, I don't have half a day in this schedule. But if your water heater goes out, or you need to work on something for a family member, somehow you make time to do the things that are important to you, but you also can look at your calendar to help figure out your plan B or your backup and how you're going to juggle your calendar so that you can be flexible. And that's flexible with challenges as well as flexible with things that you have moved up from the nice to have to the I really want to do part of the list. So you're looking at this and you're saying schedule your play time. Are you crazy? However, in this fast-paced world, many of us have a tea time, or we have reserved the racquetball or the tennis court. So we need to be there on time. So we need to put an hour or 90 minutes on the schedule. And sometimes it's 30 minutes on either side of that activity so that we have travel time. But you will know how much of this really applies to you. I want to say that when I was in video production, we met every week, and the director came to us and said, we have an opportunity to go on location. They just want to know the time and date when the whole crew can show up. Well, we all got out our paper calendars back then. No one had an electronic calendar. And I was sitting next to the director. And Tuesday, I said, no, that doesn't work. How about the first Saturday? No, that doesn't work. So the producer came around and looked over my shoulder. I was sharing my calendar, and they said, look, it looks like you have every Thursday evening free. And I said, oh, no, I can't schedule anything on Thursday evening. That's my night to be spontaneous. Well, this is an old story, but it's a true one. And I couldn't, because I had a family and a 40-hour week job, I had to make sure that I had free time in my schedule. So that's a recommendation and a secret for you. Now, this is an example of an electronic calendar, and it's not meant to read all of the words. It's just a pictorial of time blocking and using a color legend. And I learned so much of this from one of my mentors, Anna Brooks, who taught me a lot about time blocking. And she has a very complicated system because she owns several businesses of what each one of those colors means to her. But I use important is the plum or the grape, this purple color on here. And this is something that I would be letting people down if I don't do this. And then I have the blue color, which are my optional and not as critical. They are the want to do's. And then I usually mark out the placeholders. And in this example, I have a placeholder for Monday and Wednesdays that I could fill that with clients. So once the placeholder becomes filled with a client appointment, then I'm able to move that exact hour or 90 minutes to the purple color. And I do maintain this on a daily basis because it helps me get going. I look at it the night before so I know what I need to be prepared for. And then I look for it in the morning in case there needs to be any adjustments. But I have something at 8 a.m. every morning that can basically be done at any time. So when you use an electronic calendar, you can take that block and just move it to another time of day. So you see, because I have so much respect for time management and time optimization, I also have respect for flexibility. There are things in here you want to get done by the end of the week. And so I have time on a Tuesday to do replays of things that I've sent for or workshops that I wanted to attend and I wasn't able to get there in person. So I listen to my replays or my podcasts. Could be time for reading. However, if I don't get to all of that on Tuesday, I have it also on Thursday afternoon marked as critical so that I don't pay for workshops or sign up for workshops and never take advantage of them. So that is my time to really look at the things that I intended to do just to make sure that they get done. I mark time on the calendar. Again, your spiritual life is on here with my morning meditation, and that cannot be moved around. I mean, it can be moved, but it cannot be eliminated. It is an important, critical task. And you all will have those. You'll know what they are for you. Now, according to Superhuman Academy, there are brain states. When we're in our focus state is the best time for planning and problem solving. And maybe your focus state happens first thing in the morning. Or maybe you know that you don't really kick into gear until later in the afternoon, but you can work till late in the night. But when you're aware of your brain states, you are maximizing your time. So the diffuse state is when you're generating ideas. It doesn't have to be the completion of tasks. It is literally generating ideas or reflecting on how you did and how things went and how things could go better. And then there's also the flow state of being in the zone. And athletes get that, runners, and people who work all day and don't even feel like it was work. They make their work their play. And that's just your natural flow. But when you maximize your time and know the secret of these diffuse states, these just brain states, then you can use your focused and your diffused and your flow state to your advantage. Now, this may be opposite of what you have heard in the past, but I'm here to tell you, don't just do something, sit there. Sometimes we fill our schedules with busyness. I have been trained more than once, 2 separate times I've been trained on what can be accomplished in 2 minutes. However, they didn't tell me that what can be accomplished in 2 minutes is to look out the window and see if you see any birds and relax your shoulders. Sometimes all we need to do is sit there and soak up nature's sights and sounds. There is a time to turn that brain analyzer down and to turn that off. When you sit by a lake or a stream, you don't have to evaluate if the water is flowing the right way. It literally is a time to chill out, relax, and take advantage of quiet time. Many of us are thinking about gifts, not only at this time of year, but when you think, what gift is the best? What can I really give? Well, literally, the best thing you can give is your time and attention. It's really important for people to know that you value your time, and yet you have time for them. You've made time for them, and you're willing to make time for them. So as we look at the opportunities for maximizing and optimizing our time, the secret is the awareness of how you spend your time. It is a critical piece that how we spend our time is how we spend our life. And I'm asking for minds to be opening soon and developing more awareness of all of the tips that we've learned here today. And I really appreciate your time. So thank you for listening. Back to you.
Thank you, Miriam. All right, I'd now like to turn it over to our next evaluator. And I'm so sorry, we're very tight on time. At the end of our formal meeting, we can have comments from the guests, and really grateful for your all being here. So now, David, I'm so sorry, Jeff, if you would please be so kind as to evaluate Joy's speech.
Sure. Joy's speech was on the secrets of time management. Honestly, Joy, I knew a little bit about what you were going to speak about. And as you started speaking, I thought this is going to explain to me how to cram more things into my jam-packed life. I can't wait because I just don't have enough space to get it all done. It was the opposite of that. You really stressed as the secret to time management is to schedule things like quiet time. I think what you called spiritual time, gratitude, meditation, but really a time for introspection, to actually put that on your calendar and incorporate that every day. And the other thing you mentioned was scheduling rest time. Like when you're taking vacations, my vacations are literally jam-packed. Every second is accounted for. And when I come back from vacation, I can't wait to get back to work so I can rest again. But to actually schedule rest in, not just during your daily life in addition to vacation time, and then schedule open time. You talked about being flexible. So it was the exact opposite of what I expected. In terms of what you can do and just evaluation in terms of feedback, continue your delivery. Your delivery is spot on. The embedded video is really helpful because we can see the slides and you at the same time. Your eye contact is perfect. Your pacing, gestures, all of that is spot on. Things that you could do more of, stories. I just loved the little anecdote where you told your boss, I don't have time for that. That's my night to be spontaneous. So, wow, that kind of blew me away. There were lots of other little golden nuggets in there, anecdotes that when you talked about evaluating a stream. We don't have to evaluate a stream. We just watch it. It goes from one direction to the other. So more of that kind of stuff. I can't really think of anything that you could do less of. I thought it was all brilliant. It opened my eyes, and I'm going to try to incorporate some of these secrets starting today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm going to give the timers report. So with table topics, target was 1 to 2 minutes. Everyone hit the target very well. Joy, I didn't catch the exact time, but I know it was approximately 1 minute 30 seconds, so right in the middle there. Miriam also right in the middle. I really appreciate, everyone appreciates guests coming up and speaking in table topics. Miriam, you were 1 minute 29 seconds. Then Miles, 1 minute 44 seconds. So great on timing for table topics. Speeches. Dave did run a little bit over. I know Dave was kind of bursting at the seams with the ideas he wanted to talk about and just, didn't run out of ideas, let's say. So Dave was 7 minutes, 58 seconds, ran a bit over. Joy was right in the middle, 18 minutes, 51 seconds. And then evaluations. Joy did run a little bit over with her evaluation, 3 minutes, 39 seconds. And Jeff was right in the 2 to 3 minute target, 2 minutes, 9 seconds. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Excellent, excellent. All right. So the general evaluation for the meeting, we did start late today. We were 1 minute over, which is a no-no with regard to Toastmasters. But people like to talk. And then, of course, we had a really great longer speech. Now, most speeches are 5 to 7 minutes, so we can fit in more. I really, really just wanted to say thank you again to our guests, all of our guests who've been chatting into the chat bar, into the chat box. I really appreciate your engagement. And because I have such a hard stop, I'd like to now turn it over to our Toastmaster today, who has very little extra to say. So now I'd like to turn it over as Toastmaster to our president, and hopefully she'll get a chance to engage some of our guests. Thank you so much.